It's strange. What used to be my second option is now my first option. My first option is second. As y'all know, on this channel, I started with, just taking my phone and just talking about what. Now I use Jitsi because I think Jitsi is just more convenient. And I could also just put the phone down and just talk. But, you know, anyway. If you ask me, if I'd have asked you what was wrong with the black community, what would you say? Is it the police brutality? I would say yeah. Is it the gang culture? I would say yeah. Is it us not having jobs? Yeah. It's like one of these things is just like I feel like what am I or at least where am I getting at? Whatever 9 times out of 10, you're probably right about what's wrong with the black community. Because let's be real, it's not just one big problem. It's a multiple it's multiple problems that's what's wrong with the black community. So I just seen this video of Officer Brandon Tatum. I don't want to say I'm not really a big fan of his. It's like I don't really call people coons enough, but I feel like everybody has their way to fight in the black community, and instead of just trying to unite our ideas, we end up fighting each other. And we're calling other people coons and all that other stuff. And his thing was okay. There's been a slew of. It's funny because it's weird because how all this just appears at one. You got 1 week, you got George. We got 1 point, you got George Floyd and all the senseless police brutalities. Then you got the marches and the protesters. It shows how like senseless and violent police can be. And then after that, you get a girl getting dumped in a dumpster. A woman, a 30-year-old woman getting dumped in a dumpster, and then it shows you the gender wars that's between black men and black women. And then now you got gang violence, shooting kids that are not even in gangs, or innocent bystanders. It's like, and all of these, I'll tell you the truth, are problems in the hood or problems in the black community. All of them, not just one, all three of them. And what are we doing? We're fighting. What are we supposed to do? And here's the one thing about Brandon Tatum's. I think that's his name, Brandon Tatum's video. He's not wrong, but why does everybody go after Black Lives? Why is everybody's like, where's Black Lives Matter? It's like, why is it Black Lives Matter doing this? There are other organizations you can go to besides Black Lives Matter. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I support, like I tell people all the time, I support the slogan Black Lives Matter. I'm a black man, my life matters. The organization, not so much. All right. But correct me if I'm wrong. Black Lives Matter only deals with police brutality. And I tell people this. If they deal with police brutality, then that's what they're going to deal with. That's like going to a cancer rally and it's just like, what are y'all doing about the AIDS? It's like, this rally is about cancer. Now, with that being said, in Chicago, gang violence is just really bad. And I know people was just like, where's Black Lives Matter? I said, first of all, gang violence has been a thing since the antebellum era. I usually, people going to say the 70s and all that other stuff. Like, a whole culture of Chicago is based on gang culture. Like, Al Capone is one of the biggest gangsters in Chicago. And white people still talk about, oh, they had real gangsters. When they talk about, y'all not know real gangsters, like the real gangsters were people like Al Capone and some shit like that. Like, this is a bad guy that, is a well-known bad guy that is celebrated by white people. Let's not front that white people are just like not being celebrated, or when it comes to gang culture now, because white people love the mafia, white people love them biker gangs. All right, but they don't. But for some reason, and I'm pretty sure they have their beef. We just don't know about it. One thing I've always said, and this is another problem I have. It seems like our beef is always in the media. Why is our shit in the media? Now, don't get me wrong. Like the killings in Chicago, a big problem. I've always said that the killings in Chicago is a big problem. But why do y'all always want to come to Black Lives Matter? there are other organizations, and even then, why don't you donate your money to them? Like Brandon Officer Tatum was like, he said something that I think it's like, I feel like it's really, I've always said it's kind of cowardice. Now me, I just don't have the funds. I would go over there, but me, I don't have the funds. Like if I had the funds to go over there and try to help out the gang culture, or at least stop gang culture in there, I would. But I don't have the funds. I I think like, but I feel like there are organizations out there that Joakim Noah has one, and I think Nazir Mohammed has one. I've been put this out there. It's like there are organizations that help out the gang violence and culture, try to get people out of the street, out of the gangs, and all that. Why don't we put more emphasis on them instead of just trying to blame Black Lives Matter? Now, like, and this is coming from a man. I said like the organization I don't really support, but that's just reasons of my own. But that has nothing to do with this. Them little kids dying, yes, that's a problem. But not even no but. That is a problem. It needs to be solved. But there's a lot of problems that needs to be solved in the hood. First off, no one cares about these young black boys that are turning into gangs. Let's be real. Y'all don't care about them and I'll even say half of y'all don't even care about them until they dead. And even like a quarter of y'all don't even care about it until they dead by police brutality. That is a problem. Like I shouldn't care about your death, untimely death in the police brutality. By the time the police get their hands on you, or at least when another nigga gets your hands on you, your life should matter now. Now I understand why people come after Black Lives Matter because of the name Black Lives Matter. Why are you not worried about the black gangs in Chicago? Um, that's the beauty and the curse of, to me, what Black Lives Matter. Because if you're really saying Black Lives Matter, why aren't you stopping the gang violence? Why aren't you trying to put people in school and all that other stuff? It's not a whole organization. And if it really is what I'm taking a guess right here, all they do is based on police brutality, then all they do just going to be doing is police brutality. Or it's just like MAD, Mothers Against Drug Drivers. DARE, drugs and alcohol. I forgot what the RE stood for. But y'all understand. Scruff McGruff is for crime. And just like crime watches and all that other stuff. But why the thing is, and Brandon, and this is what I tell everybody, because everybody wants to bring this up, the violence in Chicago and all that other stuff, but nobody is doing anything to stop it. And you even just because you put your fucking voice out on it, is anything getting done? It's like you could talk about it, but you're not doing anything to get it done. And that's what I think those are the people on the right. It's like, I could do more here. It's like, but you're not. I feel sorry for those kids. I really do. But you talking about it is not doing nothing. It's like you're not even going to organize you're not even going to organize people to try to get someone to stop violence. You're not going to talk to the organizations over there that is trying to stop gang violence over there. Why don't you put money in their pocket? You over there pocket watching Black Lives Matter. Why don't you do that? And the funny thing is, I've had this same argument with people about Black Lives. One of my best friends, I said, why are people coming after Black Lives Matter? Because of the name Black Lives Matter. Like, that's why people come after them. And since they do get, and people donate to them, and where's that money going? Now, how can I say this? If we put, now everybody has a solution. Now here's my other thing. It's just like everybody's correct. It's just like it's one of these things where I feel like everybody needs to be. This is why people say everybody needs to be on code things. Or this is my idea. I said Black Lives Matter. If all they're doing is police brutality, they need to throw out a section for people. And this is why I think people come after them, because all you see him is police brutality. I said this to a friend. If Black Lives Matter was really about their shit, they would have a section for gang and police brutality. Or not gang or for gang culture. They would have a section for schools. Because that's what the Black Panthers, they wasn't just trying to police the police. They was trying to educate, the kids in the inner city youth. They was trying to protect women and children. Black Panthers was just like a party. It wasn't just a group. It was a party. It was a political party. It was telling people that we can take care of ourselves. We don't need to be on the white man's teeth. We need to arm ourselves. Excuse me. We need to arm ourselves with knowledge, and we need to arm ourselves with with guns and all that other stuff, and put money in the hood. This is our community, and before they gentrify it, that's what we need to do is work on the community. And this is why I always say everybody's what your problem is with the community. Everybody's right. It's just like what are we attacking first? This police brutality shit is getting out of hand. But I wouldn't lie to you. Say this gang violence is getting out of hand. It seems like every time something goes over the weekend, 100 more people get shot, and the people that die are the ones that are innocent drive-bys. And that's just not a fair. Excuse me, on anybody. So what do you think is what I think is going to happen? And I said this as a joke, but this shit might happen. I said fuck building a wall around Mexico. Niggas gonna be started building walls around Chicago South Side. Like niggas, I would not be surprised if Trump is like, we need to build a wall to Chicago, keep all them niggas in. Since they want to act like a bunch of hooligans, let them barricade themselves in and lock themselves in. It's just like, and everybody, even the people that don't have their hands in there, is gonna be trapped in there. You know why? Because he don't really care. I know one time he threatened the National Guard, and it was just like, is that really going to help? You're going to get more people dead. What do you think? I'm always like, we need to get them young, teach them young. One thing is just like, it's these black boys. And I feel like a lot of people are now focusing on these young black boys. I said, if these black boys learn to love themselves, and if they're more fathers in their life, I'm not saying single motherhood is bad and all that other stuff, but I'm gonna always promote a traditional 2-family household first, and then this gonna sound bad because it's not really blaming black women, but at the same time, look, stop having baby by these no good niggas, or at least don't even not even that, just don't open your legs to these no good niggas. If these niggas cannot financially take care of you or themselves, what makes you think they could take care of a child? I know some of these people try, but at the same time, it's just like, this is why we have a rise of single parent, because they don't want to take care of the child. And obviously, you don't want to abort it. So it's just like, babies having babies. Now, how you feel about abortion, that's up to you and what you feel about doing, but this obviously it's been a showing. I don't know if this is God showing us or something, but between George Floyd, and I'm not even counting coronavirus, but George Floyd and the police brutalities, and Breonna Taylor too, obviously Breonna Taylor, justice for Breonna Taylor. Then you got the showings of these protests, and then how police actually be treating people when they don't give a fuck. That's an eye opener. And now you're looking at, the gender wars between men and women. That's another problem between us two that also needs to be figured out. And then now you got gang violence. It's just like food. It's like lining up, and it's just like, I feel like this is God saying, like, this is what you're doing to your own people. And I said this, how you want us to win a race war? We can't even fight ourselves. We're not even arming ourselves and shit. Chicago got, like, anybody knows, Chicago got one of the strictest gun laws. And yet, it's the most violent city. There's something doesn't add up. Where they getting their guns from? Like, where are these niggas getting their guns from? And these are not even just, and let's be real, these are not grown men. These are teenagers, the savages, And like these niggas that call themselves savages, Chief Keef was a young 17-year-old savage. Like that nigga would shoot at anybody. I'm pretty sure you still shoot at niggas now, but when he was 17, he was wilding. Like, and then there's a bunch of niggas like Chief Keef like that in Chicago. They don't give a fuck. They wake up to a gun next to them. I remember like without I don't know his name, but I don't think I've ever spoken to him again. But it's not because I was scared of him, because it was just like I was playing PlayStation one time, and dude was like, "Nigga, I got my thing. I got that thing on me right now. If anybody catch lacking?" And he was from Chicago, and he probably was a good. He wasn't even probably in the game. He was a good citizen, but he know the area he live in is not good. So he was like, "Shit, I got that thing on me right now. If anyone will catch me lacking." That's how it is in Chicago. The gang culture, like, if you really want to change Chicago, you gotta get their mindset out of that gang culture. But that gang culture has been around since the antebellum era. Look it up, and I'm really serious. Like, this ain't no new thing. This is something that's been going on since the antebellum era. Al Capone was running shit in his days. Anybody know? Ask anybody in Chicago. Like, gang culture runs deep in fucking Chicago. And that's all I gotta say. And let's be real. If 2020 tries to tell us anything, we gotta fix ourselves. And this is I hope this don't come off as coon talk, because I want the betterment from our black people. And I've always said this. I'm here for the betterment of black people. And let's be real. Like, what's the problem? We can solve it. We don't need to half of the shit that is a problem we can solve. We don't really need the government to solve. But some shit we probably going to need the government, and I'm not for that. But there's laws that needs to be changed. There's jobs that needs to be made, and then there's people that really. And there's one thing, like, we gotta like really get these young boys to have self esteem about themselves, because some of these kids don't even give a fuck about their own self. And I say that all the time. Them niggas will kill you in a minute, and they don't really give a fuck. So you gotta change that whole mindset. So let me know what y'all think. Anyway, my name is Oskino Fly, and I'm out. Peace.